Hello and welcome back to I think this will be the last video of my Flint series, where I present you how Flint works and what parts are from Flint. Maybe it will be extended in the future or some years will be switched out, but I think this will be the last one for this time now. If you're watching with series carefully, you ask why now flint-native. We have flint-steel I and can run the tests and all that things. Then coming out to a question of what is the difference now. And I think it's not more of a or, it's more like an and. Because the goal of both is a little bit different. The goal of a flint-steel I is to allow servers to run Flint easily without any change. Because it's a bot and it connects to a server and executes commands or with bot player, and that it can also will be used to run tests against vanilla server. And the goal of flint-steel I is to give Flint the possibility to control the server. That means flint-steel I or flint-native is directly in the server software kind of added to it, so it has full control. And that, for example, allows test-driven development. That means you can write all your tests, what you want to test about a specific block or thing, and then write your implementation, and you can run it all the time with flint-native without starting a Minecraft server and all that things. What can do both? Both are there for creating to run with the ICD, and both, like I said, can running with Flint test. So that means at the end, the flint-native can't exist with flint-steel I, because the Flint test needs to be verified to see, okay, are they vanilla compatible or not, and for that the flint-native cannot do it on its own. For that it needs the flint-steel I. But the flint-native gives you options, for example, to debug your server directly, so it means you don't need to start a server and joining with your Minecraft, placing blocks and seeing if you're hitting a breakpoint and all that things. That means this can automatically turn running the test. And also flint-native can run multiple tests. You saw maybe that it was 16 tests it was, or 23 tests it was from a flint-steel I. It took a really long time. On a GitHub CI/CD with flint-native I can run about 30k tests in around about 2 to 3 minutes. And yeah, it's a completely different boost here. So what we are looking today is we have currently only one flint-native implementation, that's for steel. So that means currently we're using that Flint test we created in that fourth video with the Fence Custom V1, and we try to run it and then also make a debug out of it and test our custom logic what we wrote here into steel. We're going at first to a repository, no worries, that's also the link in the video description, and we clone it. And we do a git clone, cloning flint-steel into it. And the goal is to clone steel. Let me CLMC, so you can already see I clone it for us here. So as a disclaimer, I'm using Rust Rover. If you use Visual Studio Code or any other IDE or code editor, it can change a bit, so please be prepared for that and look exactly what I'm doing here. And because most of the time it's cow commands which you can execute it also on your own. So I open now flint-steel in Rust Rover and we see already an example.env.example, and using it and do it directly as a .env currently. This will maybe change also later. You see already here it has some things, the test path, Flint test and all that things. And the test path is, for example, the link to the Flint tests. That means it's a Flint benchmark, for example, but we creating here a small folder called tests, and we will copy here our tests which we created in Flint tests custom v1 into this directory like this. So that means steel, for example, is now finished preparated. The only thing what you need to do is the dependencies. Currently, you're seeing here we have it from a git. That means if you want to test your steel directly from a git masters, it is directly here. But I use it also here down below. That means we're patching that SSH stuff for local development, and using here we're going to steel MC one folder up, and to core we're putting in here all the submodules what we need from steel. Here you can see I open steel here. So because we have here the Flint I created for that what we want to have. And when we compile at first the full server, this will take some minutes. But we can directly look it in. We have the steel MC here, and we can here directly a new cargo, and we had to add here the flint-steel. You can directly see it adds here the project needs an update. That means it will does it here in this way. I'm gonna sync, and hopefully then we have a flint-steel integrated. So let's wait until all the sync for flint-steel is done and the building still happens. But what we can do now is we add here a new configuration for cargo. Okay, we need to wait for indexes, so I will come back if everything is built and the indexing was done. The indexing and the compiling is done. Then we can add a new cargo. Then we're using that test command here, and we're selecting here as a working directory flint-steel. So we will add two things. It's test with run all things. We call it flint all. We apply that with running in steel. That's good. And we also call it flint. And it's also again a test on flint-mc. And here we call it test run flint selected. The fun things is like this one here is used for a specific test, and this runs all tests. Currently we have all and flint is the same, so that means for us here it doesn't make much sense. But for example, for configuration for that, we need to use that flint-steel we have here and the .env. Like you can see here, we have a flint test. We have also that flint pattern, and like I said, also with the tags of flint text, I think was that correct name for it, and redstone for example. Then you can run all tests of flint tests with the tag redstone. But for that we have the documentation where we have all environment variable written down. You can see and check. When we have currently only one test here, so that means we were using the all tests. Doing the flint, then flint all, again compiling, and we got a problem. What is missing? We have 2 times the test. So it will again compile for flint. This will take some time, and see you when it's finished. It's compiled finished, and we can run it. And you see this failed because we see on tick 2 we expect blocks opens with all be of true, and we got all of them are false. That's why I didn't edit the custom fence behavior, because we want to add it and then debug it. So we're going here to our blocks. We have here our fence block, and I prepared already some source code, which you can find also in the repository. We need to import quickly everything. So now looks good. Then we will compile again. That should be now quickly or quicker than before. Now we add our custom thing. That means we're using with an item. You can see here, if you have no item, when we try empty hand, it means we're setting the block here with all its properties of throw, and use without item, we set the property here to false. Then we run it, and our flint test passes. Perfect. But for example, we want to see in the beginning get for placement, for example. We want to see, for example, if everything here gets correct selected. We can set here now a breakpoint starting in debug mode, and I forgot that get state for placement only works if we placing that block with an item. We have a test for that, but we can test now here on our here if when it will go in or out, breakpoint, and now we have it here, and we can debug it like normally, and we see, okay, stack item, going loud in, I can see the item of a key is stone, exactly what we said for first tick. Then we can refresh, and then now it should be air, for example, what we also say with an empty, perfect, and then we're going step and see, okay, perfectly runs through. Yeah, and that's mostly how flint steel works, or how flint-native should work. That means it's really tightly connected. How flint steel works in the deep is kind of, I abstracted steel for it a bit, so it means I wrote some specific abstraction on steel on top, which flint steel uses. So it means flint steel at the end is only a short wrapper around steel to let flint, which defines its own world player, can interact with it. Yeah, and hopefully, if you still have questions, join our Discord and help extending that functionality what we have, and also help us writing tests to get it more popular and hopefully using it for your own server. So, see you soon and have fun with Flint. Bye bye.